Right, just first fixing an extension, and just going to show you how I do outside lights, right? Keeping it in the zone, right? Drill through, bit of conduit going through, bit of capping. This is being dot and dabbed. That's how you should do it. The amount of times I randomly see capping and then drill through on the inside of the wall is unbelievable, especially on here. So yeah, box caps, downlights, wall raving brackets for these specific locations. Plus I like to use metal boxes rather than fast switch boxes. Switches, seems really high, but actually the floor is coming up by like 300mm. Switch, utility room, I've got a dedicated radial just for the boiler, which is gonna go there. And then dedicated radial just for the utility, so socket, 220 amp switches to do washer and a dryer. All capped, that's just how I do it. Like, we can argue a million times in the comments, but I like to cap, even though it's being dot and dabbed, right? So I'm only wasting my time and my money, right? So don't need to fucking whine about it. Little downstairs WC, switch, fan isolator, it's got a drill 100mm hole there. Centre light, a couple of centre lights down here with a switch. Yeah. This little section's done. Oh, and smoke. So the last couple of days I've actually been on quite a large extension, 2-story. I'll show you upstairs in a minute. You've seen that, there's like a little playroom, utility, downstairs toilet. Then this is a large dining room, kitchen round here. And then this is like a snug. I'll show you upstairs in a minute. We've got a 10mm going in for a big range cooker. Couple of double sockets, outside socket, some outside lights, which keeping it in the zone. So there's going to be a double socket and the outside light will be in the zone, the cable. Dishwasher, might do a plug in the cupboard adjacent. So only 6 spots in this whole area. They like it, they want to keep it minimal, which is cool. They're having an island. All this floor is being raised. You can see the difference in the floor here. All this is going to be raised up to that, to basically the existing house height. This soil stack is getting flipped and it's going to go that way and down by the steel. The steel's going to actually be boxed out, and I think they're actually boxing out the whole depth of the steel, so they're not boxing around it, they're actually bringing the whole wall, because of the space that they've got, they're bringing it to out this far. That will be a corner, although it doesn't look at the moment. It's going to be built out. That's actually going to be, they're boxing this out. So this is actually going to be a corner. So all my cables are going to come down in this like false stud wall and back to the consumer unit, which I've been able to crawl underneath and go all the way back to the front, which is just over there. I'm putting a supply in for the cooker, kitchen radial, dedicated utility radial, boiler radial, upstairs sockets radial, and a Velux windows. I have Velux windows. I'm Wager boxing them through and then bringing a couple of spurs in the cupboard down below to do that. I don't know how you guys do it. The client doesn't want anything on show. I did offer some kind of like conduit box lid with a blank plate and stuff, but no, want nothing on the ceiling. So I'm going to Wager box them through. I'm going to try and screw the boxes at the same position next to each Velux, so that if they do have any issues and need to get to it, they know exactly where to damage the ceiling. Couple of double sockets down here, again outside lights. I told them outside lights in the zones of the sockets. So there's an outside light there, there's an outside light which I've just drilled, conduited through there. This whole area, I think it's four 2-ways, there's 4 lots of switching: snug, island, spots, and then there's 2 wall lights either side of the range cooker, all from here and from over there. Yeah, it's pretty big extension. They're having a lot of work doing. The whole floor is coming up by about 250. So whilst the heights of the switches look quite high, they're actually bringing the whole floor is going to come up to match that there. So yeah, busy few days getting around, getting the cables round, but yeah. The boiler's getting repositioned to the utility room. It's going to be down in here, over there. I've drilled most of my holes. I've got one main run, a third in from the side, and then I think it's a 32mm or 28mm hole all the way down to the center. Cable, use my debolt cable stapler, absolutely fucking brilliant. For scenarios like this, absolutely fucking brilliant. Stapled everything down. I've capped it all. I know some of you won't cap if it's not dab, I don't care. You know, I don't have that argument with anyone. I'll do me, you do you. So I don't normally like to tape them either. I don't always like to, I know also I don't like to like clip them sometimes to the joist because I just worry that a plasterboard is just going to go and nip the cable. So where possible, I try not to clip them to the joist. I'd rather have them floating and also rather have them not taped because if you need a bit of slack, you can pull on it. So yeah, I tend to leave them floating like that. I don't like tacking them in just in case someone slips, that's all. I've had it a couple of times where builders slipped and done a bigger screw than normal and it's gone in. Or you just missed the beam, you know? So yeah, floating up. I've used these wall raving brackets. I had a couple, I had about 5 or 6, and they are a bit more fiddly. But I guess if you haven't got wood on site, and the customer wants them in a specific location, and to be honest, I prefer using cowl boxes and having, I don't like the thought of having cables dangling down and then you measuring it and then coming back to second fix and cutting the pads around and having to fish around and trying to find it. If I put a cowl box in, the plasterboard's got to cut around it, do it a little bit flush as well, 12.5mm board, then it saves me, makes it a nicer job. Outside light above a socket, outside light above a socket. Outside light above a socket. Getting there, had a couple of days. Right, I'm just under the floor looking to disconnect. They've got an old kitchen or an old radial circuit that fed downstairs. I've got three twins that go, one feeds the boiler, one feeds a socket and one feeds another socket. Went into this junction box, so I've chopped them all out of that one. One went to here, that one there. So I've chopped that out. I've got 2 legs that come in there, which I've chopped out. So these I've got to keep, definitely got to keep these. Also there was a socket up there, which I've chopped, which is one of these legs. And this one here, which was over there, there it is, that socket there. So I've got to somehow make them all good. So, but it's just a 20 amp radial that does this. Whether it used to be a ring and then it's been added and then the previous spark is then put it on the 20. And I've chopped out the cooker, the old cooker as well. So I've got somehow, I'll have a little crawl around that way, see if I can find a junction box and try and do it at one point. Otherwise I'll just join these 2 together because they were in that junction box there, and then these 2 together because they went to socket and socket. So I'd rather go back to the source, but we'll see. We'll find them out and then get the boxes on, screw them up, maintenance free, power that back up. Now after saying all of that, I just go to the other side. So this is where I am. I just go to the other side of this joist here, and there's more junction boxes. So I find out where the feeds are, and I'll probably end up replacing these 2 boxes with 2 maintenance free boxes. After all that. So these are the 2 junction boxes. They're also, I'm chatting to myself, mate. These 2 must have been done by the builder. I just found them launched under the floor in connector locks, which, as they've done just over there, is that's the new extension part. So I think what they've done is the builder's probably like pulled them off of a socket on the wall and just taped them up in connectors and just then lashed them under the floor. But you can see they both come back to these junction boxes. And I've got these are the 2 twin earths from the other side of the wall, which does the boiler, or did the boiler, and did a double socket in the kitchen. And these two went to 2 separate sockets, the other side of the wall, just under there. But I've got to make this all safe, make it all good. so it can be powered back up, because I'm not, this is all I'm doing, making safety existing radial. I'm putting in new circuits for the kitchen, so just need to make them all safe so they can have all new stuff. Right, found another socket just launched under the ceiling, under the floor, sorry. So I'm going to incorporate that into my junction box. So I've actually moved the two junction boxes. So that's where that's where they were, that one there and that one there. There's the supply, or there's that cable that goes to that socket. And then there's the actual leg that feeds this whole area. So I'm going to pull that leg along here and join it on with that. Oh, sorry, with that, sorry, that one there. And then, so it's just one connection then. Happy days. Right, all done. Junction box, maintenance for junction box. We use the classic metal clips. They're absolutely fucking amazing. Back in fashion now since the 18th. So that's all done. Actually, I think that lid's not quite on correctly, Lawrence. I can feel it. Something's not right there. I thought I had it. Feels like I'm screwing to the side. Oh yeah, I see I've just missed the thread there. Right, try that again, Lawrence. But yeah, that's now the downstairs radial made good. There was about 7 different radials off of these 2 junction boxes down here, so that's better. We're in the thread now. Right, let's get out of this lock. Let's get out of this floor space, shall we? Now I've killed the power to the downstairs. I have to put the boiler on a plug top for now. And then I'm sure Mr. Plumber Man will do the same again. He'll put the new boiler when it moves to its new position over there on a plug top, whilst the rest of the work gets done, and then I'll wire it in when I come back. Right, I've just snipped the old cooker supply because there's going to be a new 10mm. I've just disconnected and chopped the old 6mm so no one accidentally turns it on and livens up the other end, which I've just chopped above the floor, sorry, just below the floor, and I've cut it as far back along as I can. I'm going to put a newer, bigger consumer unit in, which is going to go probably a little bit higher. They're going to take all this boxing out because I've got Felix window radial, utility radial, upstairs radial, boiler radial, kitchen radial, outside supply radial, obviously, and the big cooker, so all that's got to go in, so it's a bigger board. Whoever changed this board, fucking idiot, who changed the board, right? Looks like a child's done it. That's how I do my Mother's Day cards for my kids. And they've just done the fucking pictures. So, yeah, a newer, bigger board. They just changed it like for like. I don't know what you agree on, and I don't know what technically, if there is any regulation about, you know, a percentage of space to be left for future, but he literally replaced it 6-way for 6-way. You know what I mean? No spare weight. So anyway, disconnect the cooker. We've got this radial which I've just been working on, which obviously clearly now looking at it, you probably used to be a ring and then it's been tagged on over the years, because I found 4 junction boxes which fed 5 different spurs. So I need to get the power back on, so I've junction boxed everything up. I think there's 2 junction boxes in the end. Get the power back on, chop these for now, and I'm going to come back when I do second fix. I'll be doing this all, redoing this anyway for a bigger board, firing it up and stuff. But yeah, right. What a fucking idiot. I fucking hate people who do that. I hate people who do that. Right. Starting my show with Queen, Tears of Fears, and Tiffany. Day 3. We got the main switch strops going in. About 11 cables there for various switches. disconnected the old stuff. I'm going to do some capping down there, but that's going to be a corner there, so that'll be 150 in. We got extractor fan, all lights either side. Down lights are in. Oh, they're having pendants across an island. So this is the island there. So I put noggins in because I think they're getting great big pendants with glass shades. So I lasered it all up and I got 3 pendants in there. This is all done here. I've got to do the VLEX supplies. There's all the switch in there. That's all done in there. Just got to drill the fan. Gonna do got an extra socket going behind the telly there. They've got a great big telly that's going on there. I've got to do an HDMI thing. Like normally I do like a bit of maxi trunking or whatever and go top to bottom. Normally the cabinet's down here and the TV's up there, and then grind out the box and whatnot and grommet strip and that, and then you can pull through. They specifically want it round the corner, so I spoke to the main man, John, and he recently did some 40mm tube, like 40mm waste pipe. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to chase in that way, do a 90 and 90, and he's assured me that I'll be able to pull a draw wire in to get an HDMI lead in, or even a couple of Cat 5s or whatever. So got to do that. And then there's just a bit of two-way switching I need to do upstairs in the new extension, which I still haven't showed you. Maybe I'll show you later if you're lucky. I've got to do a bit of two-way switching down the new corridor. So this is you can see the old bit of the house here. So there's a new corridor built here. Two-way switching from there to the landing, and then a smoke in the landing as well.
People's kids blow into squeaky recorders is less than ideal, but at least I've got my Costa, because everything's made a little better.
Right, this is the upstairs. That's going to be a two-way for 2 new lights in this new extension bit. That's temporary. The clients just put that up to stop their cats getting in there. And then this is just a two-bed extension, just a few sockets, all getting dot and dabbed. I've still got to do some grommeting, still got to do some capping. I've just horsed the cables round. All raving brackets, single center pendant, just gonna clip it to the joist so we've got a nice solid fix in, and then same on this side, socket, a couple of sockets there. I think we're having like a fold down, like hidden bed in here, and then again clip that, got to grommet that and cap all the sockets. So this bit's relatively straightforward, but I'm gonna finish it off tomorrow and do the two ways here as well. And I got to link it in with the two ways in the landing, so I'll figure that out tomorrow. Chasing a socket there. They're having a huge telly to cover the chimney breast, so chasing a socket. Also done a bit of pipe round because they're going to have an HDMI. You know, they want HDMI and Cat 5s and stuff, all from like a little cabinet to the right. Admittedly, I've never done it like round like that. I've always done it up and down. So I've put a couple of draw wires in so they can pull their stuff through. Centre light in here. I've done the pendants that are going to drop over the island. Light switches are all capped and in. That's going to be a corner, so it will be. I got to cap that. Single socket. But this is all getting studded out past the steel. But they're going to do a stud work and then they go OSB. They're going to put some wood on the top of the stud work and then plasterboard. Pantry socket, and then there's a cupboard here from that brown line there. That's going to be a 400mm cupboard, and in the cupboard I've got VLEX supply, 2 VLEX spurs, spur for an extractor fan, and the fridge freezer 20 amp double pole switches all going in there. And then this side is going to be, again, this is all getting studded out past the stud work, past the steel, sorry, and then plasterboarded, and then wood, OSB, and then wood. 10mm, this is a 400 cupboard here, gonna have 10mm cable isolator in there for the big range cooker. That's center of the cooker because there's gonna be an extractor fan, so it's in the zone. And then we've got 2 wall lights. Again, this is the whole thing is being studded up to here, and then wood. So this wall light, the zones of the wall lights are along there, and they're gonna just come. I've left enough slack to come straight through. Double socket down, that was done. Outside sockets are all conduited through, and the lighting, that's being dot and dabbed, and then it's stud work. So it just floats into the stud work, and then it's going to go down to the socket and the outside light, all in the zone there. There is a bit of conduit in there, you just can't quite see it. I think it's pushed through. Yeah, it's there somewhere there. Relax supplies, Wago boxed up, ready. Smokes and spots. Oh yeah, there's a pendant. So over this island, it's going to be 3 pendants. 1, 2, and then the third one is actually in the extension roof. So it's going to have a longer drop to go over the island, which somewhere around here, like that. Yeah, I think that's it then for today. All swept up and tidied up, ready for day 4, I think, tomorrow. No, 3. Day 4, sorry, day 4. And then it'll probably be a while. The guys are all doing it themselves, so it's going to be a while before I come back to second fix. Oh, and there's island socket supplies there in there as well.